Hello and welcome. My name is David Macon. Today's title is Tear Down That Wall. When Saul, later Paul, came to Jerusalem, he was raised by Gamaliel, the doctor of the law. As an adult, only Gamaliel, Saul's mentor, surpassed Saul's knowledge of the law. Now, Saul took it as his personal mission to eliminate followers of the way. It was on the road to Damascus that he was changed. A powerful story about how Jesus spoke to Saul and struck him blind. You can read about it in Luke's words in Acts 9, 1 through 11. So Saul is now Paul. Neat story. What does it have to do with walls? Paul, a new convert, is very excited about Christ. After learning from the disciples, God charged Paul with bringing the good news to the Gentiles. Now, the good news is that Jesus died for our sins and removed the barriers separating us from God. Gentiles were no longer outsiders, but brothers with the Jews. This separation was physically manifested by the wall separating the inner court from the outer court in the temple. Josephus, a Roman historian, wrote about the wall and gave us the height and total of markers placed on it. We have recovered 2 of those markers. They said, in part, "You are responsible for your death beyond this point." This was not a threat, but an observation. Before Jesus died and rose again, if a non-Jew went into the inner court, they died. Because of his knowledge of the law, Paul knew that the barrier was removed. In fact, they arrested him for taking a Gentile into the inner court to prove his point. This was more than physical. It also represented how the Jews felt that they were better than the Gentiles. Paul called this wall the wall of hostility. The wall was destroyed with the temple, and time has done a lot to change this attitude about Gentiles. Okay, that was a long history lesson. Maybe even too long. But I am talking about walls we have in church today. What walls do we see in the church today? Wealthy versus poor, race, denomination, the list goes on. We see these at every level of the church. When I enumerated them, you probably thought of a few that you have seen. Good, you can't fix what you can't find. The walls have one source in common. They all have the same purpose. They come from the evil one and exist to destroy the church. It's easy to point and say that someone should fix that. It is difficult to look inside and find that you have walls like this. What walls do you need to tear down that are keeping you from sharing Jesus? I'm still working on mine. In Luke 10:27 we see, he answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself." Thank you, and bless you.